Hey everybody, I'm Macy Kate White, and I'm going to be giving you guys the overview of a unit that I created on Christmas Around the World, and this is a PBL unit. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what that means in case you're unfamiliar with it, and then I'm going to just kind of break down what my unit would look like, and if you guys want to use it, I really hope that you can. But it's on Christmas Around the World, so in order to kind of help you learn about PBL a little bit more, PBL can really just help you turn your classroom from a teacher-led learning environment into a student-led learning environment. If you look at this picture, you see Buddy the elf at his desk probably doing a worksheet on something that his teacher has already told him about. But in the bottom corner, you see Buddy the elf, who has gone into a department store and he's used his passion for Christmas. He's used what he's curious about, which is the fact that Santa's coming to town, and he has created this awesome winter wonderland just based off his passion and his curiosities. And that's really what PBL is all about and what drives the students. It's just their curiosity and their interest in this teachers in a PBL setting. I've heard them called lead learners, because they're really just learning with the students. There's a lot of planning that goes on beforehand, but as the PBL unit unfolds, the students are really the ones who are being the lead learners, and we're just guiding them in that process. So the motivation behind the theme of Christmas Around the World in my classroom, and the reason that I wanted to do this unit, is because 41% of the parents of the students in my classroom were not born in America. So I have a lot of first-generation American citizens in my class, and there's over 5 different races and over 5 different languages represented. And so I really wanted to kind of help my students come together and work with their peers to learn on a global level about Christmas around the world. I love all things Christmas, and I don't know that I mentioned this, but I teach kindergarten, and I don't know if you're around 5 and 6-year-olds very often, but they also really, really love Christmas, and they also love all things party, which I'll talk to you about again in a minute. But throughout this unit, we're going to talk about all things Christmas, and we're going to party, and I think that that's 2 things that kids of this age really like, and really probably kids of all ages. And so this unit could really be adapted to different grade levels across the board. But the unit goals and the standards that we're going to meet throughout this unit are just really will blow your mind away about how many standards you can meet. But in the handout that's attached, you will see a list of all of the standards that we meet. But the main standards that we're going to be working on are measurement and data in the math area. The students are going to get to learn information about different countries, and they're going to get to tally the countries that they like and the countries that they're the most interested in, and the ones that have the most on their graph and the ones they have the least, they're going to get to talk about those, and the ones that they're the most interested in, the ones that that had the most tallies, are going to be the countries that the students end up researching later on. We're also going to be doing informative writing in my district this quarter, and so throughout this unit we're really going to work on that informative writing, the layout that we're going to follow. We're going to be able to work on that with the students through the countries that they're learning about. They're going to be able to write information, they're going to be able to write facts about what they're learning and do informational writing, and then we'll also be able to review opinion writing at the end. They'll be able to tell in their opinion what was their favorite country to learn about. We're also going to be emphasizing non-fiction texts, or those informational texts that are a little bit more complex for kindergarten and first grade students to read. We'll do meeting a lot of the ISTE standards, but one that we're going to meet is just the students creating original works as a means of personal or group expression. The students are going to get to present their information in both independent ways and also in group settings. And just the ultimate goal of this unit is just to help students learn about Christmas on a global level, just both independently and with their peers through, like I mentioned, the use of non-fictional text, the research, technology, and just hands-on activities. And the standards that you'll see in the handout and on this screen are just standards that are corresponding with Common Core, with the college and career readiness standards of the state of Alabama, with math, reading, social studies, and then also those ISTE standards. The initiating activity for this unit is a party. And like I said, the students love to party, so I would just start this unit off by making it a big deal that we're going to have a class Christmas party. And the students are used to this. Their older siblings have told them, but our school has a day where we just have Christmas parties all day long, and the parents get to come, and there's games, and there's food, and there's activities, and I really built this up, and I gave every student an invitation that would look similar to this, and the students would just really get excited about Christmas and about the party. And this would kind of start our discussion on Christmas and what Christmas traditions we already have, what things they already know about Christmas, and some of these lead-up questions or these brainstorming activities would start to take place. And you can kind of go over those, but one lead-up question, for example, that would kind of initiate my students deeper level thinking would just be, does everyone say Merry Christmas in the same way? And like I mentioned earlier, over 5 languages are represented in our class. So the obvious answer would be no. And that would kind of lead up to, if we don't say Merry Christmas the same way, do we do Christmas the same way? And that would lead to our driving question that you see right here, which is just, how do people around the world celebrate Christmas? And it would be at this point that I would think I would want to go ahead and tell my students that they are going to find the answer to this through research and through just different technology means. But at the end of this unit, in order to answer this question, the students are going to work in groups and they're going to research one certain country. And at the end of the unit, it's going to be their job to learn as much as they can about their country and create an invitation to a Christmas party in their country. And on the day that we have our class Christmas party, each group is going to be able to present information about their country, and they're going to do a lot of activities along the way that will make that day successful. But they're also going to get to create, using the iPad app, a invitation inviting their friends and their family and the other faculty and different community volunteers to the party that will represent their country. And we'll be able to tell everybody what they've learned throughout that research process. So I'll kind of introduce that to them, and then there'll be some other things that just help them learn as they go, and some projects that they use to show me that they're learning on an individual and also on a group basis. Just an outline of the project. I'm going to run through this really quickly, and just for time's sake, you can go back and read just the different details about this, and I'll also attach the outline of the actual document of this unit, so if you wanted to use it, you would know what to do day by day. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is just what are the students going to answer that driving question. What are the activities that they're going to do? What are they going to do individually and also as a group? Also going to tell you what the students are going to do to show me that they're learning the topic. I think as just as educators, sometimes we want to know that they're learning, and we want to know throughout the process that they're learning, and we want them to have, I know as a teacher, I want to have a visual. I want to know that they're getting it. I want to know that they're mastering that skill along the way. And so I'm going to tell you how I plan to do that through this unit. And I'm also going to tell you who the students are going to share with, who they're going to tell about what they've learned. So the first question is how. How are students going to research to find information? And you might think, in kindergarten, that's going to be really hard, and it is a little bit more difficult. And like I said earlier, it takes a little bit more planning to figure out how you're going to research with kindergartners. But just imagine the possibilities with students older. Like, there's so many things they can do to research just different countries. But for this particular unit, I used QR codes, which is something that my students love. And we are going to go on a hunt around the school, and they're going to get to look for the different countries' flags, and they're going to listen. They're going to scan the QR codes. They're going to listen and read about information and Christmas in different countries. And they're going to take their journals around, and as they listen and as they read information, they're going to write down their top 5 coolest countries, the countries that they think are the coolest. And this is another area where the voice and choice comes in of PBL. And the students are going to then tally, like I mentioned earlier, and they're going to rank the top 5 coolest countries that will be the countries that the students end up researching, which is neat because I think sometimes the things that we find interesting are not the things that the students find interesting. So this is part of that student-led learning where, yes, I'm guiding them in different countries, but they're going to ultimately decide what countries they want to dig deeper into, which will help their learning be a little bit more meaningful. And on your document, you can click this link, and it will take you to a website that will show you kind of what would come up if these QR codes were scanned. The students are also going to read informational text to find information that I'll have selected for them, which again is the planning on my part, but that's because they're younger. Older kids could go to the library and get something out themselves. And I'll also pull up videos and images and just search engines that show them what Christmas in that country would look like. The students are going to show me what they're learning through a multitude of different ways, but the main ways that they're going to tell me about their country is just they're going to work together and collaborate with one another with their group, and they're going to create different pages or different illustrations that represent their country and different foods that their country we would see in their country at Christmas, different decorations, different traditions, different gifts that are given. The students are actually going to decide what they think the top 4 categories they want to discuss about their country are, and they're going to create illustrations and write sentences on their page stating information that they've learned. And this will be one of their group projects that they present at the end of the unit using the smartboard and the document camera. Students are also going to decorate a miniature Christmas tree that represents their country's colors and traditions and decorations. And I'm just going to lay out a whole slab of different materials, and they're going to get to choose what they want to do, and they're going to find their way to represent their country, and they'll present their tree as a group as well. And on the party day, all the trees will be out, and the parents and the volunteers get to go around and they get to see all those different trees that represent those different countries. Independently, the students are going to do an expository or an informational writing about their country. They're going to do lots of crafts around the way, and just to do some more technology, the students are going to do use an app called Paperless Post, and they're actually going to create their own invitation. They're going to work with their group, and they're going to choose an invitation that they can email out, and we can print off and hand to people in our school that will invite people to their party that's going to celebrate Christmas in their country, because they've become as you'll read in the unit, a citizen of this country, and they're going to be showing everybody what it's like to celebrate Christmas in that country. If you read more closely and you look at the handout, there's a lot of other ways that along the way I check, because like I said earlier, I really want those quick checks for understanding as we go through the process to make sure that my kids are learning fully and that they are understanding. And if they don't, I want to be able to monitor that progress, and I want to be able to help. I want to be able to guide them in that learning and make sure that they're learning what they need to be and on a deeper level, because I think that that's really important. And I think as a traditional teacher who's used to giving assessments a lot, this is something that will help me know kind of where they're at the end of each day, and just do a lot of quick checks for understanding. And like I said, you can see more of those on this sheet or on your handout, or if you pull up this document on your own computer. I'm going to use these rubrics to assess my students. Students will be graded on their informational writing piece based off of the rubric that you see at the top right here. And students are also going to be graded on their group project and presentation using the rubric down here at the bottom. There's also going to be exit slips. I'll do some anecdotal notes as the students work, just making notes of anything that I see them doing well or anything that I see them struggling on. If it's a writing skill that I see them struggling on, I would make sure to send home extra practice. Maybe work with them on a different country maybe to write about, just to get them that extra practice, just so I know that when it comes down to their assessments, I know that they've mastered those skills and they're going to do a great job. The students are going to share their knowledge with other students in the school. They're going to share it with their parents, with their family, with other administration and faculty at our school, and also with community volunteers. We have a lot of people that come around, and we also have a college right across the street from us that a lot of students come and do their student teaching at, and we have a lot of student athletes who come over to get community service hours, so we would definitely invite some of those people that have been in our classroom before too. A big part of PBL is just sharing what you know, and that's a really great part of the students. And PBL also is wanting to get students prepared for the future, prepared for the workforce. And as we know, that's what you do best in the workforce, is you share, and that's one of the ways that you learn the most, is just through the knowledge that other people share with you. Another big part is just the follow-up and the reflection. So after we have our big parties and after every country is represented, the following day we would just compare and contrast the countries and the traditions that everybody found out. We would compare all the different countries with what we do in America. We could compare and contrast all the different countries that we've researched, and we would just use a Venn diagram just to whole group answer and discuss what we found about people and how they celebrate Christmas around the world. These are just some different ways that we integrated technology through this unit. I think technology is an awesome tool that students can use, and we implemented it several ways throughout this unit in kindergarten. And like I said, you could do so many more things with it even if you have an older grade level. So I encourage you to look through those. These are the resources that I use to help give me just ideas throughout the planning process of this PBL unit, and also just a tip is that I just looked through it all, and I just looked at anything that I thought would apply good to my kids. I looked at other PBL units that had nothing to do with Christmas around the world, and I just thought, that's a great idea. That's something that I could pull in and incorporate with my kids. And I think these are all really great resources for you guys to go to if you're interested in planning a PBL unit of your own. These are some websites that are awesome for student research, and these are some ones that are kid friendly, and they would be great for you to pull up for your kids if you decide to do this unit. These are all websites that have awesome information about different countries and their traditions around the world at Christmas time. And I just want to thank you for listening. I hope that you can find a way to incorporate this unit into your classroom, or PBL in general into your classroom. See the handout for more details. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is listed there. And I want you guys to just really get started with problem-based learning today. It's awesome. Just remember Buddy the Elf around this Christmas season. You can turn this type of learning environment into this type of learning environment that's just driven by curiosity and innovation and creativity on the student side. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you can implement PBL in your own classroom. Thank you. Bye-bye.